Why am I so tired when I'm not even doing that much? If you've ever said that to yourself, stay with me because the answer isn't that you're lazy. It's not that you're bad at time management. And it's definitely not that you need another productivity system. The answer is that you've outgrown your systems, and that gap is costing you more than you think. And today, I'm naming three specific costs. The third one is the one nobody talks about, and it's the one that doesn't pay. Hi, my name is Shelby Frederick, also known as Lady Jules, and I am so glad that you have landed on this Ask Lady Jules segment. Let's get back into this. What I call this gap is an identity systems gap. Your identity has shifted. You've become more strategic, more visionary, more of a leader, but your systems, your calendar, your decision making, uh, your daily responsibilities, those are still built for who you used to be. You know who you used to be? The executor, the firefighter, the one who carries everything. And that misalignment, it's not just uncomfortable, it's expensive. So let me show you exactly what it costs. Cost number one is what I call the energy drain. And I need to be specific. This isn't being busy. This is what happens when you're mentally operating in 2026, but your calendar has you stuck in 2023. And here's what that looks like in real life. You've trained yourself to think strategically, but your week is packed with execution meetings. So you're constantly translating back and forth between who you are now and what your systems ask you to be every day. It's like running two operating systems at the same time. And that's why you can work 40 hours and feel like you worked 60. The drain isn't the workload, the drain is the context switching. We talk about code switching, but today we're talking about context switching. What is that? I need to lead, but then I need to execute. I need to build the future, but then I need to fix this right now. I need to think, but then I need to respond. And that strain, it doesn't shut off when the laptop closes. So then you get the sleep issues, the low grade anxiety, the rest that never actually feels like rest because rest feels like falling behind. And here's what makes this so very sneaky. You don't see it as a systems problem. You tell yourself, well, I should be able to handle this. Other leaders do. Maybe I need to fix me. But this isn't a personal failure. This is misalignment. And if you stay in this energy drain too long, you stop moving altogether. So let me paint a picture. You see the need for a major shift, whether it's your business, your ministry, your team, your direction. You have the vision, you might even have the authority, but when you try to move on it, friction everywhere. The process is too slow, the approvals drag, you're stuck in meetings about tasks when you should be leading strategy. So the vision just sits and you sit with it. And the longer it sits, the heavier it feels. And what once felt alive starts to feel impossible. Now, that's cost number two, because cost number two is what we call execution paralysis. And this is one of the most frustrating experiences for a high capacity woman because you're not confused. You can see what needs to happen. You're just frozen. And the reason is structural. Your new identity leads from vision, but your systems are still built for an executor. Executor systems need control, approvals, and certainty. But visionary leadership needs room to think, decision velocity, and delegation structures that actually move. And when those two collide, you default to the old identity because the executor gets immediate results. The firefighter is measurable. The problem solver gets praise. But every time you default back, something happens emotionally. You start questioning yourself. Well, maybe I'm not as clear as I think I am. Maybe I'm overreaching. Maybe I should just wait. And if you stay there long enough, this paralysis becomes something deeper because the cost stops being operational and becomes personal. Now, this is the one I almost didn't include because it's the hardest to name. Cost number three, identity erosion. And here's what this sounds like. And I want you to be honest with yourself about whether you've had any version of these thoughts. Well, maybe I'm not meant to be the visionary. Maybe I should just stay in execution mode. At least that version of me was productive. Maybe this growth wasn't for me. If you have those thoughts, that's not truth. That's erosion. When you operate out of alignment long enough, you don't just get tired and you don't just get stuck. You start abandoning the new identity altogether. And that is the most dangerous cost because the first two costs slow you down. This one sends you backward. You start shrinking, and not because you're not capable, but because nothing in your environment is confirming who you've become. Your calendar doesn't reflect it, your systems don't support it, and nobody around you is mirroring it back to you. So you begin to wonder if the shift was real at all. And here's where I need to say something clearly. You're not making this up, and you're not broken. Your systems are just behind your growth. This isn't a willpower problem. You cannot discipline your way out of a systems problem. Willpower might get you through a week, maybe even a month, but it won't close the gap because the gap isn't about effort, it's about architecture. And that's what we're going to talk about next week, the actual framework for closing this gap. So here's what I want you to take from today. If you're drained, frozen, or quietly doubting yourself, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because your identity shifted and your systems didn't. And next week, I'm going to give you the framework to actually close that gap. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you know a woman who needs to hear this today, send her this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Blessings. If this question reflects your current leadership season, pause and notice your response. Nothing is wrong with you. This points to capacity, not character. This is the work I support inside my private DDB breakthrough coaching cohorts, structural support and sustainable change. If this pattern keeps repeating, deeper support matters. Thank you for spending this time with me. We rebuild first, then we rise.